So I decided to turn to Walt Whitman, of course, one of the greatest American poets, and of course, an eyewitness to the Civil War. He wrote a series of poems called Drum Taps. And one of the things I noticed in the Drum Tap series was a definite evolution of his sort of poetic reflections on war from the heroic, excited first poems to the absolutely stunned and almost speechless poems of later on. In some ways, Walt Whitman's poetry allows us to journey with Americans from sort of initial enthusiasm and excitement for war to, really contemplating the human cost of war. So this all made sense to me for the Compassion series. War in some ways is the opposite of compassion. We drum up hatred for the opposing sides so that we can kill them. On the other hand, having done that, what does that do to our own people? What does that do to us, let alone the other side?
You look through the score with the eye that I use when I look through the score. There is a lot of sort of staticness about this music. I've done a number of Greg's pieces in the past, and this music suits this purpose of having this discussion, of probably reaching no conclusions, but at least asking the questions. Because as you look through what the orchestra is doing, there are these sort of clouds of tonality, often that sort of evade a sense of center. At the same time, there's a kind of hanging quality about what the music does tonally, what it does rhythmically sometimes. It's atmospheric, it's sometimes ethereal. There are some sort of ethnic evocations. He was talking about some of the music that comes from certain traditions that written on Vietnamese poetry, or Arabic poetry, and you see those ethnic elements in the music as well. But I think it's music that provides a background that's appropriate for questioning, and doesn't lead the audience toward musical conclusions or perhaps more philosophical conclusions. It's just a chance to examine some of these issues. The idea of music itself as a reflection of the human experience, as Suzanne K. Longer said, of what it feels like to be human, is an important role that the artist plays. It's bringing these materials into existence that can help us to sort of examine those issues of human feeling. It's not only thinking about what it means to send a society into war, but thinking about how that affects us in an emotional way, a visceral way. And music is particularly good at doing that.